This is how you want to build endgame Sun Jinwoo. Let's talk about it. What's good, YouTube? NoGoodEman here. Come with you today with an endgame Sun Jinwoo build. So guys, in this video, we're going to show you guys the best way you want to build Sun Jinwoo towards that level 90 area. So think late game, think the Baron chapters, hell, think the hard Baron chapters. But before we get into any of that, make sure you leave a like on the video. As always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on post noties, and support your boy on that Netmarble website. We are almost at 200 supporters. Thank you guys so much for supporting. We are literally going to hit it probably in the next 24 hours. But go ahead, keep on supporting. Let's kill it. And thank you guys as always. Now, let's talk the boy Sun Jinwoo. As you can see right here, we have 205,000 power. So how do you get something similar? Well, let's get into it. The main thing to probably start with would probably be the weapons. Now, as far as weapons, guys, we are probably not going to talk about this section too much because we make so many weapon videos, but the overall theme is if you're going to use weapons, get them to level 100 as fast as possible. I can't lie, you should probably have weapons around level 100. You should probably have your first level 100 weapon, maybe around the Baruka chapters, the normal Baruka chapters. Then by the Kargalgan, you should have a few level 100 weapons. Now, as far as the best weapons in the game, we're definitely talking about the Plum Sword, we're talking about Thetis' Grimoire, we're talking about that Moon Shadow, and you know, if we're talking SRs, then we're talking the West Wind, we're talking that Family Longbow, and we're talking that Orb of Avarice. So if you have any of those 6 weapons, you guys might be in a better spot than most. So go ahead, try to build those up as much as possible. I know you can put SRs in rate up, so that's just pure RNG, but you are slated to get more SRs over time. Now, as far as SSRs, you definitely want to build that Plum Sword as high as possible. I feel like Plum Sword should never get out of your rate up until you get it maybe advancement 5 or advancement 10 for you high drawers. Now, as far as the Moon Shadow, this just became more and more meta recently, and you might not have too many dupes of this, but if you could get that A5, that's going to help you out in a bunch of game modes. And then the best pairings, usually, as you can see, Plum Sword and Grimoire. You could try something like Plum Sword and Moon Shadow. Again, Plum Sword is a very good buffer. It is one of the greatest weapons in the game because of its utility. So think of it like a good setup. It's going to give your player critical hit rate, attack, critical hit damage. It's going to boost your next attack with dashes, things like that. Plum Sword is just crazy. And then as far as other combos, you could really just go Plum Sword and something else. So go ahead, Plum Sword, West Wind, Plum Sword, Longbow, Plum Sword, yada. And if you really don't like that, you can reduce the Plum Sword. If you don't have the Plum Sword at all, there are other options. So let's say you want to use a different main weapon or a different buffer weapon, you can try out the Huntsman. So this looks a little bit weird though, Huntsman, West Wind, right? So definitely just utilize it to whatever game mode you're playing, right? Definitely utilize it to whatever game mode you're playing. Now, let's keep on going as far as, and we're just going to change this back real quick because that kind of looks unsavory to look at, but that also drops my attack a bit. But our Sun Jinwoo roughly has 30k attack. I'm missing probably one artifact piece that's going to get him that 30k attack, but of course we need to go all strength. Really, strength is the only thing that's going to matter here. The only time we really change this around is to put it in intelligence when we're doing guild boss because we're running a support Sun Jinwoo build. But for the main part, attack is all that you're gonna need. Unfortunately, the other stats don't really matter or factor in too much at the moment, but hey, maybe with new game modes this can change. As far as blessing stones, guys, there are a bunch of blessing stones in the game. I personally think there are some nice and sweet, lovely combos that you cannot miss out on. So let's say you're dealing with a boss with a break gauge. You definitely want to put on something like double-edged sword, pulverize. If they have a weakness, I like weakness detection here, and then bloodlust. This is probably my best 4 blessing stone combinations. This is a very universal one. And let's say they don't have a break gauge. It's very easy. You can swap this with relatively anything. You can go Mono Rampage, you can go Reawakening to get your skills back faster. You can, let's say if you're not critting enough, you can go ahead and put that on for crit. Guys, there are so many options that you can do when it comes to blessing stones. Let's say you don't have any of these, or let's say you want to run full utility. Let's say you're dying a lot. Go ahead, throw on that daily quest. Go ahead, throw on that camouflage. Go ahead, throw on that, let's say Kangaroo's Blessings, and then go ahead and throw on that swiftness, and then we have those two legendary. So as far as utility, I don't really need utility blessing stones too much. Of course, my playstyle is different from anybody else's. Now, as far as other underrated blessing stones, I like Wolf Assassin. This one is pretty good for, let's say, just a bunch of mob clear. I'm also a big fan of Advanced Dagger Techniques. This will increase your damage as you deal more and more, or as your enemy's HP gets lower and lower. Boss Slayer, this one's kind of like a double-edged sword, not to be confused with the double-edged sword, but you will get increased damage to your bosses, but that dash cooldown does increase, so use that at your own risk. And then Chains of Blood, another risky one. This one will increase your damage as your HP gets lower, but your damage increase will also take place. Now, Swift Strike, again, another real good one. As soon as you extreme evade, you get a big damage increase, especially at the legendary category. I don't really like that one too much because the window is pretty small. And then as far as blessing stones, or not blessing stones, but the runes you might want to run, is universally, I think the best two skills you can bring is probably something like Vacuum Waves and Vertical Arts Magnifying Slashes, or that's Sonic Stream Magnifying Slashes, or Vertical Arts Reap. But yeah, as we kind of previewed it, but Vertical Arts Reap, that's something you could always bring. Let's say Decimate, that's something you could always bring from Vital Strike. This one increases your attack, does a lot of DPS. You can bring, let's say, the Commander's Touch from Black Hole if you are dealing with a lot of mob clear, something like that. So, and you can bring Electric Shock. This one has become a way better skill. This one actually interrupts a lot of mobs during their passive state, so you can definitely use this if you just want to stop a mob from hitting you repeatedly over and over. Now, as far as artifacts, guys, the best set you can run right now on the boy son Jinwoo is going to be a 4-piece curse, 4-piece beast set. Now I want to go a little bit more in depth here. Now I'm getting a decent amount of attack from my curse and beast set put together. And from here, you can kind of see it again, almost 30k attack. I want to mention before we do talk about artifacts that I am getting a decent amount of attack from my gems as well. So if you guys aren't building your gems properly, then that's probably why you do not have high attacks for your son Jinwoo. So look at my gems, I'm literally getting 18% attack, almost 20% attack just from the gems alone, to another additional 200. And then you can see the other stats as well, but I really want to highlight that attack, guys. I've been locking it in. These are only attack percentage gems. We got 1, 2, 3, we got 5 tier 4 attack percentage gems. These give you 3% each and every time, and you have a total of 7 slots. So 7 slots, you got 3% each. You could get a max of 21% attack through just gems, guys, and I'm not even at my full potential. We're still looking for some more tier 4s, so hopefully we get those and see what that's looking like, and we'll definitely cross that 30k attack threshold. And 30k attack is very large. If you played the game early on, you know how hard it is to get to 30k attack. We're just now reaching that, and that's amazing, but definitely it's taken some work to get here. You're gonna need everything to go right. You're gonna need to play the game consistently. But as far back to the artifacts, guys, 4-piece curse, 4-piece beast. How I personally like to build my sets, I like to focus my critical hit either in one place, and when I say one place, I mean where you see like the +1, or in multiple places. So here you see critical hit +1 there. There's no crit on the chest plate at all. There's a little bit of crit on the gloves, and then there's a little bit of crit on the boots as well. So that's why it's at 49. It could be at 50. I would just have to swap some things out, maybe get another +1. But something you also will see on all of these artifacts is attack percentage. Now, as far as what's better, additional attack or attack percentage, for your son Jinwoo specifically, attack percentage is always going to be the better stat that you want. So go ahead, throw that on. So here from the Helmet of Burning Curse, we're getting attack percentage +2, which is just lovely. From the chest plate, we're also getting an attack percentage +2. From the gloves, lovely. Oh my goodness, we're getting an attack percentage +4, and then from those boots, we're getting an attack percentage. So the boots is probably the weakest of those, but we are getting critical hit damage increase, which is the next important main substat. Damage increase, you also want a lot of damage increase. This is going to increase your final damage calculation. So if you can get damage increase high on your son Jinwoo, he's going to be doing even more damage even with a lower attack. Keep that in mind. as you can see on my beast necklace, +2 damage increase, +2 attack percentage. You honestly couldn't ask for anything better. Maybe a little bit of critical hit damage. Speaking of that, we have that on the bracelet. So +2 critical hit damage, +1 additional attack. This bracelet's probably not the best. I'd probably want some attack percentage, some critical hit damage, maybe some damage increase. The beast ring, this one does have attack percent as the main stat. And if we're talking to like main stat versus substats, I'd probably want my attack percentage to be a substat and additional attack to be the main stat for Sun Jinwoo. I feel like that's a better way to build them. Kind of like this helmet, because that gives you an opportunity to roll for attack percentage. So if I can max out on additional attack and then roll, let's say attack percentage +4, that's gonna be insane as far as the attack for the boy Sun Jinwoo. Now back to this. Finally, the earrings, attack percentage +3, critical hit damage +1. I just wanted to give you guys an idea of why the attack is super high. So that is something to note and keep in mind. And then finally, this really doesn't apply to Sun Jinwoo too much, but here's the shadows. So as far as the shadows, we got Blades, Serby, and Tusk, or not Blades, Serby, but Blades, Tusk, and Egress. They're all Elite Knight, and then the rest of the shadows are at common. And then we're waiting on the big boy Kaizel. We're waiting to extract him, see what he's looking like, because I'm hearing there might be more shadow ranks. Now, again, we'll figure that out when we figure that out. But for now, what do you guys think of how I built Sun Jinwoo? Go ahead and leave your thoughts, theories, and comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on post notifications, all that other good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Y'all take care. Peace.